Okay, we're rolling film, putting up your splash, and hitting your intro. I'm going to grab a bong rip at the same time. Hitting your intro now.
Coming to you live from the San Francisco Bay Area. It's time for Zig in the Zone with Ralph Zig Tycho.
All right, we're live. Do it, Ziggy.
I am back. You are comfortably zoned with me, the Zigzag Man, in Alameda, California, talking to my buddy Paul, and you are in the Valley. What's the
Yes.
city you're in?
I'm in Lathrop, California.
Okay.
Lathrop.
How
And
close is that to Modesto?
About 30 minutes. It's 24 miles from my doorstep to my mother's in Modesto. But if I was to drive to the
Beautiful.
closest place in Modesto, it's like 18 miles or something. So.
Gotcha. So what we do, and
Go ahead.
there
I'm sorry,
are
I
a
cut you off.
number of first-time listeners. We basically push on the doors of life, Mark Paul, in every way, and we try to identify the unholy trinity week after week. And the unholy trinity is big business, government, and organized religion. And they are working together to kill us, slowly but surely. And want to make people aware, throw in a little baseball talk, a little talk on life. And what we enjoy doing quite a bit, Paulie, is ganja talk.
Oh, yeah.
And we had a weekend. I got to spend the day with Paulie in person, and we had a wonderful weekend that revolved around ganj. And can you tell us a little bit about what went down from your perspective?
Yeah, and it's not like I had a heads up. It's not like I didn't have a heads up on what the hell I did this weekend. It's not like I could have downloaded some pictures or had something written, but it's the stand-up comic and writer in me that was procrastinating, I guess. So I'm just gonna wing this. We went to the 65th birthday of our friend Dan Rush. Dan Rush, dubbed last year at the Emerald Cup Awards 2024 as the Social Justice Warrior. He got the Social Justice Warrior Award for his work in cannabis. And I want to do this right. So,
Hey, we were there to see that too.
right, we were there to see that. We do have that saved for posterity. And it's too bad the Emerald Cup's not happening this year, but it's all right. I mean, they're just. It takes a lot. I mean, it takes a lot to put that event together. It takes a lot of money for even
the rental of the venue.
Yeah, well, even just the guys that was that rent the booths, that cost a lot of money for these guys. So, but let me go back to what we were talking, which is about Dan Rush. Dan Rush, I'll paraphrase what Wikipedia says about him. Dan Rush is an American former union organizer and former statewide political and special operations director for the United Food and Commercial Workers for Cannabis and Hemp Workers Union. He is known for being a leader in the United States labor movement and politics, and for cannabis and hemp industry workers, and a civil and motorcycle rights activist. Rush began his career in the union in the 1980s as a senior official responsible for carrying out statewide ballot industry politics, and eventually founded the concept of organizing medical cannabis and hemp workers in the United States and Canada now. He was later investigated by the FBI for enriching himself at the expense of his union in 2015 and for cheating his clients and betraying them for bribes, which we were not gonna agree to. He took a plea bargain, ended up doing time, a multi-year sentence, but now out doing the Lord's work, if you will. He's out for us hempsters and cannabis activists, and he's speaking truth to power right now. He's even crossed what I consider he's crossing the lines just to get cannabis decriminalized or changing the and I just said it, didn't I?
The status.
Yeah, basically the classification of cannabis in this
classification,
country,
right?
So that it's not it will no longer be considered the same kind of drug as cocaine, heroin, and so on and so forth, methamphetamine, and so he's working with both sides, trying to figure this out.
He has not given up. He made a terrific comeback. He's now made it to a wonderful woman. Margaret Black Rush is just very special. And I got to say, I'm a guy who does not have one, but it would really behoove anybody to be partnered in this world and have someone to rely on and someone that can rely on you. And I've had that on and off in my life. Takes a lot of work. And you two have a tremendous relationship, Paulie.
Yeah, I do. No, I mean, absolutely. What's the old adage? Behind every successful man is a woman, and behind her is his wife. So, it's something like that, right?
Right. And I've lived a life and where alternative relationships have come into play, and that wouldn't have happened if I were born in a previous relationship, previous time in life. I'm very lucky to have grown up in a time that accepts change, and that not everybody does, but the people I hang with do, and you got to look for that in life.
No, I mean, you definitely have to lead with your heart, right? I think when you're young, you're leading with your loins, right? Probably leading with your loins, leading with, depending on where your head's at. I mean, speaking from an artist's point of view, you're leading with your personality first, and trying to.
You lead with your heart,
What is it?
and
Chutzpah? Chutzpah?
chutzpah
Yeah, chutzpah.
is,
Yeah.
um, is loosely
It's
speaking gall.
yeah. It's
Um,
leading.
and
But isn't it kind of leading with your? It's your kind of your
and
youth without really. It's kind of reckless youth. It's kind of being cocky. It's kind of being right.
and you don't have to be young to live that way. I can cite at least 10 times, and we've talked about this before, when I've heard out of the corner of my ear as I was leaving, as I was hanging up, the expression, the gall of the man.
Right.
I love hearing it
Well,
because,
and even when somebody says to me, "Oh, he's cocky," if you're cocky,
right,
it kind of means confident and maybe testing the bounds, and I think that's fine if you're young. If you're our age, you're being an asshole. You're not being cocky. You're being an asshole.
well, at our age, you put the health into it. It's hard, the health factor, it's hard to be cocky because one knows that whatever you have going good could change in one freaking instant.
Oh yeah.
And you
But I
could
think
be
that
humbled.
comes with age though, right? I don't think when you're 20 something, what do they say? Young, dumb and full of cum. So, when you're in your 20s, right? You're not thinking that way. You're thinking how much fun can I have? How much can I drink? How much can I party? How much can I don't know. You're all out, right?
Absolutely.
Hopefully by the time you hit at least my age, you're like, "Okay, things got to slow down or I'm going to die. I'm going to die way sooner than I need to in a death in a way I don't want to die, you know?" What's the old saying?
Yeah.
I want to die like my grandfather, peacefully in my sleep, not yelling and screaming like the passengers in his car. And so that's kind of my mantra, right? I mean, I never envisioned myself getting older than 30, but now I see myself at 100. I really
Right.
thought in my 20s I was going to die like Jimi Hendrix and Janis Joplin and Jim Morrison from the Doors. I thought I was going to die a rock star. Well, the problem is I couldn't carry a tune if I had a wheelbarrow. So,
No, but you're a rock star in many different ways.
definitely a
Tell us
legend in my
about
own mind. Definitely a legend in
tell
my
us
own mind.
about Dance Party and how you have become so encompassed with the cannabis community, in this case in Oakland, which was held at Diamond Park on Foothill. And beautiful park, great sun. Um, but the people, we've talked about this before because we've been to other cannabis events together.
Right.
There is nothing like getting cannabis friendly folks together who are non judgmental and just looking to live and let live. And that was a privilege. Not everybody gets to experience that ever because as much as the cannabis community is growing, it's still the minority.
Yeah,
And
they're still well. Actually, in California, it's flipped. It's become the majority. Let me
oh,
see
really?
here. Um, what is the percentage of Californians that smoke cannabis? Working on it now. So I'm gonna guess it's more than 50%, sir.
Okay, but those figures are
Oh,
misleading.
like among these. Oh, wait, hold on. A recent survey indicates approximately 30% of California adults have used cannabis in the past 3 months, Among these users, 58% consume it daily, and 40% use it multiple times a day. Hey, we're part
Right.
of the we're finally part of the 40%, Ralphie.
That 41%.
Yeah.
If you take into consideration my IQ,
Well, there you
um,
go.
but my point is, so many don't. Whatever, if 50% do, 50% don't.
Right.
And so we're blessed, like I say, on a regular basis to deal with people, not deal with people, enjoy people who are at ease in a totally different way than one would imagine the effects. Um,
Well, we're definitely not. We're not those guys from see, I must be getting old. Senility is kicking in. We're not one of those guys from I want to say Helter Skelter, and I know it's not. Reefer Madness. Jeez, Paul. I guess I got
right.
to take up. I guess I got to take another bong rip to get to the right place. Um,
Well, when I
but
was
I'm
starting
not.
out,
It doesn't drive people crazy. It doesn't do this and that. There's actually been found medical uses for marijuana. It's a pretty widely accepted drug at this point.
uh,
If
getting
Trump's
there,
getting on board,
right, right. He's interested in getting some votes, taking some heat off of the Epstein thing, um,
mm-hmm.
the tariffs. He is so fucked and feathered. There's so many things going on. I'm, uh, I don't see how this man, and they're diagnosing some things wrong with him. Could be kidneys, could be on dialysis, but there's uh, a mental dementia that can't be denied.
Right. No, he's definitely showing signs of that, but he's always kind of rambled. He's always talked in circles, kind of like I do. But I think that's my ADHD, OCD, and all
Right.
that crap mixed up. But with him, and it might have been that with him in the beginning too. I don't know. I don't know if he definitely lacked focus. Every time they would give him a script to read, whatever it was, just stay on script, he would purposely meander. It wasn't
If
like
you've been following it the last couple of weeks, things are much worse with his head. He is really demented. And
well, and he's saying some really weird shit, and yeah, no, it's not good. I mean, his he keeps talking about these mental acuity tests and stuff that he takes, and I'm sorry, it's like asking what is this a picture of? Oh, that's a lion. Oh, what is this? Oh, that's a dog.
yeah,
Oh, that's a zebra.
really good, Donnie. You're doing very well.
Right,
There was a clip of him up on the roof
right.
screaming stuff like, we're going to build the nuclear plant up on the roof
No, oh
and
no. Well,
shit like
so
that.
what he was saying is he went up there with a team of people. I saw it and I remember it vividly. Is that he went up on the roof of the White House and of course and he was up there with a team of people, other suits. And they were like, "Mr. President, Mr. President, what are you doing? What are you doing?" And he's like, "Oh, we're looking and building or something." And then they're like, "What do you mean? You're looking, you're building. What are you building, sir?" And he goes like this. Like he's almost like doing a Hitler salute, which I don't want to do,
Uh,
but he was kind of doing a thing like it was and he used the word missiles. He goes missiles, and they go missiles, sir, and he goes yeah, like that, like they were going to take off from the roof. And so this is my thought, and this kind of goes along with some of the stuff that he's been talking about, or again, what we're talking about, his mental status, right? Is that I thought there was always some sort of grenade launcher on top of there, or some sort of anti-military, maybe not a nuke, but if some other country like Russia fired off a missile, one of them's going to the White House, right? That's like one's going to the Pentagon, one's going to the White House. They're all hitting major targets. I'm sorry, I don't want to sit here and start naming off places where you would want to hit. But you get it. It's like 9/11, right? They hit strategic places. And so, of course, one of them might be the White House. So I always thought, even since I was a kid, that they had at least like grenade launchers and shit up there. Because if anybody ever tried to take out that, even just from a ground force, not just from someone firing a missile, because I would think it's not even going to enter into Washington airspace without getting knocked down, right, or hit, right? I would think some other missile from some other place is going to hit it before it even gets into Washington. I bet you
right,
Washington.
unless the air traffic controllers have been all fired.
Well, and I just,
right?
Again, you're right. And so I guess what I'm saying is I always thought that the White House was armed in that kind of way. Even I always thought, somebody mentioned it about, if somebody ever, and we know, so for one thing is we know that the White House isn't armed like it should be, because over my lifetime, I know of at least 2 or 3 people that have jumped that fence or got onto the grounds. That one person even got into a side door that was open and got so many feet in, and before the lady Homeland Security or what is it, Secret Service got him. It was the guy that came in, and he had a knife, I think. But he got all the way in the front, or in, not the front door, but he got in a door at the White House. He ran across the lawn. I always thought even the lawn of the White House must not have landmines, but I figured it had little stations with people armed in it in case somebody went cuckoo.
Right.
And so I think he started asking questions. I think he started saying, well, I want to see the missiles on the roof. And they're like, sir, there's no missiles on the roof. What do you mean? If somebody tries to attack me, we'll go up there, sir, but there's nothing like that. He's probably even asked, I want to see the aliens. And they're like, what? I want to go to Area 51 and see the aliens. I want to see the spaceship. I want to see their bodies. Is there any of them still alive? I'm pretty sure he's asked those questions. And
I wonder if they bred, if their grandkids are alive.
So I'm just wondering how much he believes in some of those things. Because wasn't it last year? Oh, well, no, it was on his last presidency, because it wasn't last year, because we're only 8 months into this atrocity. It was last time that he went to Fort Knox because he wanted to see the gold. He was told that, because there's always been a thing where they think Fort Knox is empty. A lot of people think it doesn't have the amount of gold reserves that we've always touted it did. And so he went there. I forget who it was with. I think it was the guy that they just raided his house, Michael Bolton. The guy, I think he was, what was he, FBI? Was he FBI? I can't remember. But anyway, he went there with somebody, and he wanted to make sure the gold was there. I remember that trip. I can look at it now. Wait, hold on. When did President Trump visit Fort Knox? So it will tell me. Because I know it's true. He literally went there just to make sure the gold was there.
As of now, President Trump has not visited Fort Knox. In February 2025, he announced plans to inspect the gold reserves there. No visit has occurred since then. That was from ChatGPT.
In February 2025, he announced plans to inspect the gold reserves, but he has not visited, and he's never visited there. So I am wrong again. Boy, you know what? One thing I'm going to admit right here in front of you, talking about mental acuity, I think over the last probably month, I've been called out on facts. And I'm like, really? And then I go look them up either through Chat GPT or do a Google search, and I'm like, oh, I'm mistaken. I'm fucking wrong. Even the thing about Trump declassifying pot. The person goes, well, you know, he's the one that made CBD so widely available to everybody, and that you keep talking about Avon sells it, and it's at Safeway. And he goes, who do you think got that? I go, that wasn't Trump, was it? Fuck, it was Trump. And
it was.
And it was. And so, and then I forget. And I've been called out on facts like 3 or 4 times, and I'm like, bullshit. Let's look that up. And I go to look it up, and I was wrong. Dead wrong. Not that
Isn't it nice?
Oh, go ahead.
Isn't it nice that we have the capability of correcting ourselves with technology?
Yeah, I think it's great that we can look it up in the moment. I used to I think maybe that's why I'm either that I'm getting older and losing my memory, or it's from being lazy. I think we used to, if we didn't know a fact back in the day, I use this as a joke in my old comedy. I used to say, oh, kids, we had Google too. It was called the library. But, you know, instead of, you know, talking into your phone and typing something and getting the instant answer, it would take you all day to find your answer, and you would have to get to know this guy named Dewey Decimal and blah, blah, blah. And so
right.
it was about, we had access to it, but you had to do all the legwork. You know, you had to go look it up. And definitely the kind of stuff about, like, if you're watching a movie, a current movie or TV show, and you go, oh, what's that guy from? When we used to say that back in the day, everybody in the room would try to remember, and if we couldn't remember, that was the end of that.
Hey, we
didn't go to a library to look up who was in episode, you know, what was it? What are we on? We're on episode 32. Who's that weird guy on season 2, episode 32 of Zig in the Zone? Oh, it's that.
That's me. That's me. I'm guilty.
Yeah.
You know, we did have that, though, related to what we were talking about. We had librarians that really could help you and lead you around a little bit.
But they would never give you the answer. They would never give you the answer, but they would show you how to work the system.
Right. And
because they wanted you trapped with them in the library more, because they were lonely. Those ladies were lonely. They wanted us around more. As long as you, them? Unless you, yeah, but they didn't like it if you were talking. Shh.
Yeah. Tell me something.
What's that?
And my mind keeps going back to this. What do you think the end game is going to be about with Trump?
When you mean end game, you mean what's going to be his silver bullet? What's going to be his wooden stake? His silver bullet? What's going to take him out? I don't know.
Not just take him out, neutralize him. Put him in prison.
Maybe just mortality. Maybe just mortality. Maybe he eats enough McDonald's and bullshit, and he lives a shitty life. If you treat people shitty and you're hating on everybody, that doesn't do your mind, your heart, your body any good. We know that he has a tendency to eat shit food, even though he has access to the best chefs and the best food.
Right.
He prefers to eat KFC and McDonald's. I just had I went out to a restaurant that I probably wouldn't have gone to because I can't afford that shit. And it was so fucking good. I'm talking about it 4 days later. It was so delicious. You know, my idea, Oh, it was and I got to remember the name now. It was right by the studio, and it was a Thai restaurant, and it was at the Mint Plaza. I'm trying to remember what the name of it is now. But I was taken there after we recorded the other day, and they said, "Oh, do you want to go do Thai food?" And I said, "Oh yeah, for sure." Because every time I've ever had Thai food, delicious, always. I don't know shit about Thai food, but it's delicious. And so I went there.
Right.
Even when we ordered, they said, "Oh, what do you want to order?" Go, here's the menu. Order anything you want. Help yourself. And I'm like, yeah, it all looks so good, which is my idea, my way of saying I don't know anything I'm looking at other than ingredients and descriptions on how you make it. And so I don't know what. So anyway, they said, "Oh, would you like us to order?" And we'll order a whole bunch of stuff, and we'll all kind of like smorgasbord, and dip in. And it's like, yeah. And so we did that, and everything was delicious. Everything. There was not everything that we were served, and there was like 8 items. Delicious. Even just the green beans were delicious. And so, yeah. I'm going to do this because I can hear your mic starting to wonk, and we are 31 minutes in, which means your microphone does sound better than usual, Zig. But it's starting to wonk out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the commercials, and I'm going to call you right back while we're doing this, and they don't have to even hear this. But you guys, this is what we do. Please reach out to us on all social media. You can check out Zig on the Comfortably Zone Network on Facebook. You can check him out on Instagram, Twitch, YouTube. But today alone, he's exclusively on YouTube. So we're doing a little beta test. This is his little test to see, or our little test to see if we can drive traffic to that channel. So go, like, subscribe, ring that little bell on all those channels, and you'll get notified when we put any content up, no matter what it is. What else do I have to say? Oh, we also have our commercial break. Zig, I'm going to roll into commercials. You're with us, but here we go.
Whether it's criminal defense, estate planning, or civil litigation, is the law offices of Andrew Doja. Call us today at 510-865-1600 or find us on the web at dojalaw.com.
For tenant and landlord disputes, there's no other than the law office of Jeff Canberra. Call now 1-510-865-7369, and don't forget to tell them Zig sent you.
All right, we're back. And
What was that?
I'm telling
And let's
you.
talk about getting some books together for the kids and taking them over to the Head Start program.
There we go. I'll put it up for you. You talk to us about it.
Well, wherever you live, there's a Head Start. And government funding, like all humanities needs, are not being met by the current administration. So what we have to do is take matters into our own hands. And the best thing the Head Start program does is provide books for kids who are in a Head Start program, so you know they need it, to give them not only how to read, but a passion for something. And that's the best we can do as a network, is to recommend that wherever you live, box up some lightly used or new books and take them, children's books, take them over to Head Start. Make a block party, collect them, do what you need to do. And in addition to that, support the ACLU if you can. And if we're going to come out of this, it's going to be with the help of judges and attorneys. And so that's, we're humans. We can't get out there. Everybody can't get out there and protest, but do it. Do what it takes in your own way, and you will feel so incredibly good. And that's what I recommend.
Right on.
Feeling good. Feeling good is what it's about. I'm a human.
No, I agree.
And that's I told. The better you do for other people, the better you feel. So it comes around, even if you're doing it for selfish reasons.
Yeah, I was going to say that for myself. So, as a performer, people ask me what's my biggest drive, my biggest thing that pushes me forward being a stand-up comedian. It's definitely writing and coping, but the next thing is, it's probably first and foremost, it's probably the laughter of other people. It's probably giving to others in the way I can. Not everybody can do that. Not everybody is... everybody has a different skill set, and that happens to be what I've been given, or I've obtained,
and
or I got in the deal.
You have the very special phrase that describes what you're getting out there. Stand up, says Paul Brumbach.
Yeah, keep standing up, and that's it. And it is.
Yeah.
And it applies. Keep standing up. I mean, keep standing up every day. Keep standing up for what you believe in, and just keep stand up. Keep standing up as speaking truth to power. Whatever it is for you. But yeah, you're right. Keep standing up.
Hey, for me, it's do no harm and take no shit.
Right.
And you got to do both of them. When you see wrong and you recognize it, share it. And that's what I get the most out of this podcast. Is it's cathartic. I can say what's on my mind for the most part.
Gotcha.
And
I mean, otherwise you'd just be a crazy old man walking down the street talking to yourself.
Well, it doesn't have to be an otherwise. Could be both. But
not either or. It could be both. Got you.
Right. Hey, Pauly, tell us about the Edge Studio that you run and that makes it possible for me to work with you and put out a podcast that I'm very proud of.
Sure, and this is kind of my proud baby. I appreciate the lead-in. I mean, the reason we do what we do at Edge Studios is, again, it's kind of a selfish thing for me. I'm not in business. Well, it'd be great if I was in business to make money. But I'm not in, I'm in business to help others. I really am.
Right.
It started off as a love of creating things. It's a love of expressing yourself in a free, positive environment. I belong to multiple studios in San Francisco that promoted everything like that. Everything you can think of, they promoted, hey, it's a positive place, freedom of speech, all that. Independent, blah, blah, blah. But when I got there, and it's more than just one place, it was 3 different places. Everywhere I went, there was issues. And I thought to myself, why are these places falling short of my expectations? Most of the time, quite honestly, it was personality. The people that ran these studios were artists such as myself, but very, very quirky and had issues or either ego, drugs, alcohol, personal issues, you name it.
Ego. As
Yeah,
someone
well,
who's done,
you're thinking of one person in particular. I'm thinking of 3 different businesses and 3 different
no,
business
I'm
models.
thinking about myself when I did comedy. My downfall was my ego,
Right.
and it wasn't my downfall per se. It would have been nice if I were funnier, but it would have been nice if I responded in a way that was more indicative of the age that I was at and an appropriate response. But you live and learn. I try to keep my ego out of this. I've done podcasting for 12 years, audio podcasting, and a year and a half or more with Pauly. This is a trip, a kick in the ass.
So one thing I want to try here, I think I can say something and mute myself, but you should still be able to hear me, and just nod if you heard me right now.
Yeah, yes, on purpose.
Cool. So I'm able to say something without them hearing me, but you can hear me. I fucking love it. I'm sorry, guys. I can have little side notes with you.
If you're out there and if you could have heard that message, you would have, a little tear would have come to your eye.
It would have. It was my Academy Award giving speech. It was.
It wasn't just that. It was that you put your heart into the presentation.
Oh, it was funny. It reminds me of a couple things. That reminds me of a couple things. I just watched this video where this guy pranked his brother and gave him an edible, and it was a really strong edible. And then he basically psyched him out and said, "Oh shit, you ate way too much. Have a good trip for the next 8 hours," or whatever he said.
Oh.
And then he goes, "But as long as you don't," and he's telling him on his voicemail, and he's like, "But as long as you don't do that thing you always do when you," and the phone disconnects. And then he turned off his phone. And so he's like, oh shit, what do you mean? If I don't do what that I always do? Breathe in and out? What? I don't know. And so it reminded me of that video that I just saw today. But I used to have this thing because I used to be a tour bus guide, a double-decker tour guide in San Francisco. And one of the things we would go do is when we looped around by the Golden Gate Bridge, and I gave my spiel about the Golden Gate Bridge, we would come down and you would go right through the Presidio. And you would go through that tunnel right at the Presidio. And I would tell people, when you go through, so when you go through that tunnel and you're on a double-decker bus, even if you have a amplified microphone, you can't hear a thing. And I realized that when I was in training, we would go through that tunnel and be like, well, you can't say anything here, so you might as well just shut up. And I thought, well, no, use that as a prop. And so one of the things I would start timing it right when we went through the turnstile at the Golden Gate Bridge. I would go, okay, you got a minute and a half to do this lead up to this thing. I would say, where's everybody from? Where's the furthest person from? You guys are all tourists. I want to give you some real worldly advice being here in San Francisco. People talk about, don't have your cell phone or expensive camera equipment right out in front of you. Somebody might just come by and grab you, grab your equipment and just run, and you've lost your equipment. Don't leave anything in your car, even for a split second, while checking in at a hotel, because people follow people from airports and they will, break your window and steal your shit, and you'll lose everything on your vacation. But the most important thing, and this will save your guys' life, is that, and all of a sudden, and you couldn't hear anything. And I would still keep motioning and like acting like, oh, there's a gun and a knife and all these crazy things. And then we'd come out of the tunnel and you could hear again. And I would say, and that is the most important thing to know while you're in San Francisco. And I would get the biggest set of laughs from that because it was an act out that I wasn't even saying anything. So anyway,
you know the comedian Tony Kameen, am I correct?
Yes, yes, I do.
Okay, I worked with him 30 years ago, and he had a joke in his repertoire where he was, in real life, he was a tour guide of some sort, and he got groups of Japanese tourists to take this tour.
Right.
I don't know if he said, that's the Golden Gate Bridge. It's made entirely out of cheese. And the Japanese people wouldn't know if he was serious or what, but that was, and I didn't tell it well, but that was his joke. And
well, one of the other things I would say is, we're on top of the double-decker bus, so I'm standing, they're sitting, but they can see everything around them. It's like almost a 360 view, right? And so I'd be like, it's not like LA where you'll see, famous people. You might not see Brad Pitt walking down the street or Morton Downey Jr. or any of these people. You never Morton Downey Jr. Why did I say Morton Downey Jr.? That's funny. But you wouldn't see all these famous people, walking down the street. Oh, wait, hold on. Look, everybody get their cameras. And I would point. I'd go, look. And then I'd point down at a Starbucks. And I'd go, look, it's one of 88 Starbucks in San Francisco. and
there are three in Alameda.
Oh, they would like, oh, really? You did that to us?
There are three in Alameda, and little plug, if you live in Alameda and you need a good Starbucks, the best, South Shore. Wonderful people. Natalie is a wonderful manager. I've known her for a lot of years. Come by Starbucks. I might be there. If I am, say hello. Let me know what you think of the show. I'm going to do it anyway. Whatever you think. It doesn't matter what you think. But,
so who knows? You might have a stalker. You might find a nice woman friend that way. As long as you don't find a process server or someone that's trying to subpoena you or something, you're good.
That could be the woman.
That could be the woman.
Just my luck.
And your heart at the same time. That's good. Okay,
my pocketbook and my heart.
Yeah.
That's not likely to finding a woman in that sense. Just talking off the cuff is.
I think that's where you. I think that's where. I'm sorry, I cut you off. I was going to say, I think that's where you're good. I think that's where you shine like I do in everyday just chutzpah and also kibitzing, right? It's just talking.
We're a good team, as witnessed by just this episode. I really love our interaction. It's we talk about ego. We put not an inch of ego into this. And I love it, Paul. Thank you.
No, I love it too. And I'm glad that this is one of those phone calls where in the middle of it, it doesn't keep interrupting you with things like, you're speaking to an inmate in the San Quentin facility, something like that. So I'm glad that that's not happening with his phone call, and it doesn't say please deposit another 25 cents or something like that.
Right.
So.
Oh, in the old days, one could live in California and, excluding rent by a little bit, could pay like $300 a month
Right.
for the phone to call back. We live in a wonderful age. Um, $60 a month, unlimited text and calling. That shit.
Right.
It's good to have grown old in this place, and we just my mind keeps coming back to, let's make sure that this fucker doesn't take us all the way down the tubes.
Oh, I know.
And that means losing democracy and having a dictator again.
I was
Even if it's
watching.
not.
Go ahead.
ahead.
No, I was going to say I was watching a podcast last night that, and I'll shout him out. It's Christopher Titus in the Armageddon podcast, and they really took a kind of a unique approach. They asked ChatGPT what they can do to save democracy, based on history and taking down other tyrants and other autocrats that are doing what Trump is doing now and paving the way for that. And they had like 4 different. One was civil disobedience, which people are doing. I'm trying to remember, but they broke it down into like 4 different areas. But I'm telling you right now, it's gonna take a fucking village. And guess what? You're the village. You're the village. You, and you. Oh yeah, over here, you too. All of you are that village. You have to do what you can. And everybody has. We were just saying that earlier, right? Everybody has that a different skill set. Find your skill set. Find out what you're most effective at, and laser focus on that and do it. If you don't like the way this country's going, I don't care if you're Democrat, Republican, liberal, whatever. Even maybe this is more of a this goes out to everybody, but maybe I'm talking to you Republicans. Hold on. How much of this?
It's everybody.
Well, it is everybody, but what I'm saying, let me say one thing to the Republicans that are following him. There were people that followed Mussolini. There were people that followed Hitler. There are people that followed Stalin. That didn't end very well. It ended in war. It ended in atrocity. It ended in millions and millions of people dying. Aren't we a smarter society? Are we going to let one guy take us down? And are you going to follow him? I mean, how far are you going to go? Are you going to wait until one of your family members is deported? Are you going to wait until someone's killed? There's people dying because of his actions, because of taking away health care, taking away meals from seniors. What the hell? I mean, it never stops. And I understand he's trying to
research for kids.
Right.
I mean, unbelievable what we've come to.
Yeah, so everybody has to do their part. That's all I'm saying is do your part, whatever it is. And, if you're for the opposition, I get it. Then speak your mind. But I think it's the other percentage. They said last night or something, he's got a 27% approval rating that he's doing, that people are think that he's doing a good job. 27% of the country.
Unbelievable.
He would have never even got the nomination. No. At 27%, he would have never got his party's nomination. And this is 8 months into a 4-year stint where He even said publicly the other day, he said that, in 2026 and 2028, I don't think we should have elections because they're all rigged. We need to fix this system before we have another election, which is kind of what Putin did to stay in power. He did some maneuvering and manipulation and, did a whole bunch of that. And
I
he's still in power.
Heard and viewed a clip where he had a smug look on his face, and he said, if there's a war going on, we can't have elections. Huh.
Right.
That's exactly how he said it. Like,
yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said that. He said that based on Ukraine and Russia. And so it was kind of like almost a watershed moment where you could see the light bulb above his head go on.
Well, that light bulb should have gone off.
Yeah, it's a 2-watt bulb. It's pretty dim.
Right. And I don't expect people to think, but I expect the judges to come to our rescue.
Yeah, where's all these checks and balances? I was always told about checks and balances in this company,
right?
In this country, and apparently all the checks are bouncing because it just ain't working.
You mentioned the Republicans, and they are overwhelmingly to blame for all of this shit. More so than Trump, because they endorse him, and they make it possible. We knew he was a prick when years ago we found out that he had Mein Kampf on his bedstand.
Yeah.
And now we find out through all of this, there's a Fred Trump Jr. that and a Mary Trump, that Mary wrote books. She's a psychologist, wrote books about him and got a lot of press before the election. And it was she's incredibly well spoken, and she told what he's about. And he still got elected. Now, take that with you for a week and think about it. Can we let this happen again?
Right.
Do we need to impeach him?
Well, that's the other thing. I would think there's been multiple things that we could impeach him on, but I think people are getting all their ducks in a row. But how many ducks you need in that row?
Well, you need to control the
House.
The House. And when midterms come up, if the Democrats end up controlling the House, he's dead.
Right.
Hopefully, it doesn't last that long for him. And hopefully, it's before he destroys the country. In the meantime, he's looking to militarize yet 2 or 3 other cities. Chicago, he thinks they're a bad state. Anyway, and Maryland and what have you.
Yeah, he's doing all this weird stuff. He's just dispatching people out to Chicago. He's got that. Yeah, he's putting the guard out there. And then I noticed another thing is he's taking away cashless bail. In other words, you can't just go to a bail bondsman and sign some paperwork and get out of jail, because he wants to keep you in jail and get you either in front of a judge or deported.
Right.
Or so he doesn't want you out on bail.
And not see a judge and still get deported.
Right. He doesn't want you to get out of jail waiting for a court date, because he knows that would be your chance of getting away.
Right. And it's
I just can't believe the
just
amount of stuff that I think this should be a fucking wake up call for the American public. The checks and balances you always thought are not there. There's not a nuclear arsenal on top of the White House. If somebody jumps over the fence at the White House, these little doors aren't gonna pop open, and people aren't gonna, either come out with machine guns, or whoever's running towards the White House isn't gonna fall into a pit or something.
Hey, let's get back to that, and then we'll end it. But
Okay.
let's get back to that roof story a little bit. He
The what story?
didn't go up the roof.
Oh,
Him
yeah,
up
yeah.
on the roof.
Right.
They had to find him up on the roof. They weren't the Secret Service. They didn't know what he was going to do. He was talking and acting irrationally and coming to the edge. And it was a day when the Epstein shit was really coming down on him.
Right.
And I saw a pressure that he was feeling in that moment.
Let me see if I can pull that up at anyone. I keep talking though. Sorry.
Right. I'd rather listen to you pull the thing up than hear my own voice.
I'm gonna pull the thing up, but it's kind of funny because I want to make sure that I can actually pull it up. Trump on roof of White House.
Hey, is my mic working good this time?
Yes, it is. It's still working after we did the
right. I think we got this shit. I think we got this shit down, Pauly B.
Yep, I believe so. So, who do I want to take it from? Let's take it from the short one. Here we go. Let me see here if I can pause this. Hold on. And then we make it bigger. And then
President Trump made a surprise appearance on the roof of the White House today. Reporters below were shouting questions, asking what was he doing up there?
Wait, hold on. Sorry. Here we go. I want to make sure we get it. But I want to get it in full screen for everybody. All right. This is what we do. This is how I do it when I get my shit together. Here we go. I think this is it. Here we go. There we go.
President Trump made a surprise appearance on the roof of the White House today. Reporters below were shouting questions, asking what was he doing up there?
That will show you. It's just another way to spend my money for the country.
The president appeared to be surveying the sites of some of his planned renovation projects. The president stepped out onto the roof of the West Wing, spending about 20 minutes walking with an architect and pointing to the grounds below.
But so the thing is, he literally said, and I want to find that clip. He literally said, he was, what are you doing, sir? And they literally, because whoever was asking him, hold on, let's go to the longer clip. Here, let's go to the there he is. Here we go.
They felt he was in peril.
No, I think I thought it was funny because he was saying that they're to put missiles.
As you can see him there, just strolling along again on the West Colonnade on the roof there, talking to what looks to be some advisors. Not entirely sure what this little tour was about. This was not on the president's schedule, so this was really an impromptu live look that we had from there.
Probably look at each other
Washington, and
want
in
to
just
go,
moments,
what
I do believe you're going to see the president kind of walking
is this
through,
guy doing?
and hopefully we hear some of what was being shouted by reporters that were down there on the ground. Of course, the press follows the president at all times of the day. And then a reminder that coming up later on today at 4 p.m. Eastern time, we are going to be seeing him signing some new executive orders there from inside of the Oval Office. I do believe it's not going to be live footage, but it will be a tape playback. And of course, we're going to air it all in its entirety here at Live Now from Fox. All right, he's walking up. Let's
okay, here we go. Beautiful.
More ways to spend my money.
More ways to spend my money.
We'll show you. It's just another way to spend my money for the country.
We'll show you it's another way to spend my money.
Anything I do is financed by me, so you know where it's contributed. Just like my salary is contributed, but nobody ever mentions that.
So he's going to build something. And so even later
so you saw there, those questions were being shouted out by the ground. Obviously, he wasn't mic'd up. Couldn't really hear him too clearly, but that happening moments ago there at the White House. We are keeping track of everything on the president's schedule. A reminder that at 4 p.m. he will be signing more executive orders. So, we'll be right back.
Okay, again, so here's another time where, let me get rid of it. There's another time where I was wrong. Or at least that clip didn't show it, because I remember him even saying that and this was only a month ago or something, right? And they said literally, oh, he goes, I'm building something, and then he said missiles, and then he used that motion. So either that clip did not contain it, or I don't remember it properly. So I'm wondering, boy, I got to stop saying that's exactly how it happened.
I'm sure that clip was edited.
Oh,
probably
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. So.
All right. So that probably explains it.
Maybe. It could just be I'm getting old. So that could also explain it. Anyway, so what are we doing? We're about that time.
We had a terrific show, Paulie. I enjoy your company immensely.
Same here too, Ziggy. I want to make sure you guys know where to follow Zig, where to go subscribe to the show. There's Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram right there on your screen. Please go like, subscribe, and follow, as well as ring that little bell if it applies to that platform. Today, exclusively, we're on YouTube. Why? We're doing a science experiment. So we're going to see how that works for us. But otherwise, you can catch content from Ralph on all of those channels right there. And again, it's always a blast.
Paulie, did you bring the litmus paper?
Did I bring the litmus paper for the test? No, but there'll be a pop quiz right after this. So,
okay. And let's not leave Mom out.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, dog, come here, Ace. Come here. Let's see if I can get the dog to come over. Come here. See, there's the dog. All right, you guys, for myself, Ace, we're out of here, guys. Thanks, Zig. It's always a blast, bro.
Thank you, my friend.
All right, buddy. We'll see you guys next time in the zone. Until then.
Adios.
Adios.